in this tutorial, we'll take a look at dropping the subfloor for the tile, because the thickness of the tile and the mud base below it is 1.5 inches, sitting on directly on top of the subfloor makes it 1.5 inches above the subfloor. The oak flooring is 3/4 of an inch, and it sits directly on top of the subfloor, which means that there's going to be a 3/4 inch difference in floor height here. If we take a look at this section, you can see that there's my tile, but when I get over here, my oak flooring has a difference in 3/4 of an inch. So I have to go back over here and modify the subfloor. So first I'll edit the boundary here, and let's do it this way. We're going to drop the subfloor here to here. So let's take a look at just the magenta line. So I'm going to isolate the category, and I want this to come around to here, and then I want this guy to be cleaned up right here. Okay, that looks good. I'll say okay to that, and they're telling me that there's the highlight lines intersect, so there's an issue over here. I'm not sure what that is, so let's delete this line and see if there's another one underneath it. Yes, in fact there is. So I'll say okay there. All right, so now reset my temporary, and I'm going to isolate this category just to show what let's go to show the, so we're going to, let's see, we'll isolate the element. There we go. So there's the only place that I want my subfloor to be at the level that it was originally drawn at. And here I'm going to drop the subfloor down by 3/4 of an inch. So I need to draw 2 subfloors. So I'll come over here now, and architecture floor, it's going to be my 3/4 inch plywood, which is right here. Okay, and let's draw the boundary of that now. We said the plywood goes all the way to the this is the plywood goes all the way to the plywood sheathing on the outside. So I have to bring this all the way down to here. All right. We'll come across all the way to here, and then close that back up. All right, to here, and then we'll come back to here, and then back up. And let's close that down now. Okay, that looks good. So this is going to be 0. Yep, okay. And let's close that down. Highlighted floors overlap, but it appears to be okay. And all I want to see is my plywood subfloor. So first thing I'm going to do is quickly hide this element, and then I'm going to isolate these elements. Okay, so now I have, that's not what I wanted to do. So I'll reset my temporary, come over here, hide this element. There's my 2 floors. So I'm highlighting the one floor and then there's the other one. If we take a look at this now and we go to the view, coming through right here, here's my plywood subfloor underneath the tile. I'm going to grab the tile and drop it down. So it's just 3/4 of an inch. And that's all right. Highlighted floors overlap. So now they line up. Okay. So there's a little bit more uh, fine tuning needed here to get it exact. And I'll deal with that when I put my framing in and figure out exactly because not only does the floor drop, but the floor joist will have to drop as well. So I'll figure out exactly where I want those floors to drop as far as the perimeter goes once I figure out how my framing is going to work. So that's a quick tutorial just showing you a problem that I've seen in other houses where the uh, rough framing was not installed correctly to accommodate the difference in the thickness of the materials of the floor, and then that had to be dealt with later, uh, which meant that the materials didn't line up. There had to be some sort of a threshold put in between the two so that it could accommodate the transition between the two spaces. It's just a big mistake. There's no reason for that. If you have different materials, thicknesses, then you can accommodate that real easily by just dropping the framing of the subfloor or the framing of the floor down, and then everything lines up. And that's the kind of thing that might be a little more advanced than this class requires, but it's giving you a little insight into what really needs to be done in terms of your model if you were really going to build it.